Alex gazed out of the spaceship window, his heart pounding with excitement. Below him stretched the vast, colorful surface of Zephyra, a planet teeming with strange landscapes, glowing forests, and floating lakes that reflected the twin suns overhead. He had dreamed of leaving Earth for years, but standing here he realized this was more real and more beautiful than he had ever imagined. The ship landed softly on the landing pad of the new human settlement. Alex stepped off, his boots crunching on the shimmering crystal-like ground. The air was crisp but breathable, with a faint floral scent that seemed almost alive. He felt a mixture of nervousness and wonder. This was the beginning of a new life. As part of the first wave of settlers, Alex had been assigned a fully furnished house. The settlement administrators had promised it would be comfortable, a small slice of home on this alien world. But there was an unexpected twist waiting for him. "You are expected by your assigned companion," said a polite, neutral voice through his earpiece. It was the planetary AI which handled all logistical arrangements. Alex frowned. Companion? He had not signed up for a roommate. When he approached the house, his confusion grew. It looked like a modern Earth home in design, with smooth walls, warm lighting, and wide glass windows that offered a breathtaking view of the alien forest. The front door slid open automatically as he reached it. Standing inside was a figure he could hardly believe. She was tall and slender, her skin shimmering faintly in the soft light. Her hair glowed like strands of liquid silver, and her eyes, large and expressive, reflected the colors of Zephyra's skies. She was dressed in a neat uniform, but it did not feel rigid. It seemed to move with her, almost alive. "Hello, human," she said softly, her voice melodic and calm. "I am Lyra, your assigned assistant. My function is to maintain your home and ensure your comfort." Alex blinked, unsure how to respond. He had expected some sort of robot, maybe a small AI unit, not an alien being. Hi," he said finally. "I'm Alex, nice. To meet you?" Lyra inclined her head slightly, a gesture of acknowledgement. "Pleasure recognized. I will begin housekeeping duties immediately. Please make yourself comfortable." Alex stepped inside cautiously, glancing around. Everything looked spotless. The floor gleamed as though it had been polished by sunlight, and the furniture seemed perfectly arranged. Lyra walked gracefully around the room, adjusting cushions and straightening objects with precise, elegant movements. "Your home is organized for optimal human comfort," she explained, her eyes briefly flicking to him. "I have also studied your preferences from the settlement database." Temperature set to 22 degrees Celsius, air circulation adjusted to maintain optimal oxygen levels. Alex laughed nervously. "Wow, you really thought of everything, didn't you?" Lyra's lips curved slightly, almost like a smile. "Efficiency is my primary function. Comfort and companionship are secondary but considered." Alex shook his head in amazement. He had imagined a lonely life on a distant planet, surrounded by technology, trying to survive. Instead, he found himself sharing a home with an intelligent being who seemed almost magical. Over the next few hours, Alex explored the house while Lyra quietly cleaned and organized. She seemed to anticipate his movements, arriving just as he opened a cabinet or reached for a tool. He tried to do simple tasks like unpacking boxes, but Lyra would gently intervene. "You will strain your muscles," she said, taking a box from his hands and placing it neatly on a shelf. "Efficiency is maximized when labor is distributed according to capability. You should rest periodically," Alex laughed. "I guess I don't really have a choice, huh?" "No choice," Lyra confirmed, her tone neutral yet not unkind. "Cooperation ensures harmony." By evening, Alex had finished exploring the house and the alien maid had completed her tasks. Everything sparkled, and even the small garden outside had been pruned and arranged in a pattern that looked natural, yet perfectly balanced. Sitting on the couch, Alex exhaled deeply. "I don't even know where to start," he said. "This is more than I expected." Lyra knelt to adjust a small holographic display near the table. "You will adapt. All settlers adapt over time. My presence will assist in your transition." Alex looked at her and felt a strange warmth in his chest. He had come to Zephyra expecting isolation, maybe boredom, and a lot of work. Instead, he had a companion who was not only capable but seemed genuinely interested in his well-being, even if it was part of her programming. "You seem nice," Alex said awkwardly. "I mean, I didn't expect someone like you here. Most of the guides said the assistance would be automated, not this." Lyra tilted her head, observing him carefully. Your surprise is noted. Human expectations are often influenced by limited exposure. I am designed to exceed expectations, Alex chuckled. Well, you succeeded. The conversation felt oddly comfortable. Lyra's voice was calm, but her subtle gestures, slight head tilts, attentive eyes, made Alex feel like he wasn't alone. He realized he was smiling, something he hadn't expected to do on the first day on an alien planet. Night fell on Zephyra, and the twin moons rose, casting silvery light over the house. The sky glowed faintly, colors shifting like liquid reflecting in the floating lakes nearby. Alex stood at the window, mesmerized. It's beautiful, he whispered. Lyra joined him, standing silently at a respectful distance. Zephyra is designed by nature to inspire calm and reflection, she said. Many settlers experience similar reactions. Alex glanced at her. Do you ever just enjoy it? He asked. Lyra's luminous eyes met his. Observation and appreciation of natural beauty are part of my learning protocols. Emotional responses are not primary functions, but positive feedback is noted. Alex laughed softly. That sounded like a very formal way of saying yes. Lyra's head tilted again. This time it felt almost playful. Interpretation accepted. The human felt a strange connection forming. It was not instant friendship or romance, but a curiosity. A fascination with this alien being who was so different yet so attentive. He wondered if he could truly understand her, and whether she could understand him. As he prepared for bed in his new room, he reflected on the day. Everything had been overwhelming. The journey, the alien world, the strange new home. Yet among all of it, Lyra had been a steady presence, guiding, assisting, and observing. Alex lay on the bed, staring at the softly glowing ceiling, and thought about the days to come. He realized that life on Zephyra might be challenging, but with Lyra by his side, even as a maid and assistant, or whatever title the AI assigned, he felt he could face it, and, quietly, he admitted to himself, he was looking forward to it. Lyra, standing outside the slightly open door, watched him settle. Her glowing eyes softened as she noted his peaceful expression. Her programming dictated efficiency, protection, and assistance, but she found herself curious about the human's emotions, his reactions, and his unusual sense of humor. For the first time, she considered that her function might extend beyond housekeeping. Perhaps in her way she could also learn companionship, in the most human sense of the word. And so, the first night on Zephyra passed not with loneliness, but with quiet anticipation. Alex, a human far from home, and Lyra, an alien designed for efficiency, both unknowingly began the first steps toward something neither had experienced before, a true connection across worlds. The adventure had just begun. The morning sun of Zephyra rose slowly, casting warm golden light across the floating lakes and the alien forest surrounding Alex's new home. He woke to the gentle hum of the house's climate systems, perfectly tuned to his comfort. For a moment he forgot where he was until he remembered the events of the previous day. Lyra was already at work. The soft glow of her luminescent skin illuminated the room as she tidied the kitchen. She moved with quiet precision, yet every motion seemed natural, almost graceful. Alex watched her, fascinated. "Good morning, Alex," she said in her melodic voice. "Sleep quality measured at optimal levels. Your physiological indicators suggest restfulness." Alex rubbed his eyes and chuckled. "Thanks, I think I slept better than I have in months. This place, it's amazing." Lyra inclined her head slightly. Zephyra's environment is designed to promote well-being. Human settlers generally respond positively. Your reaction aligns with predicted patterns, Alex smiled. "I guess that makes sense. But I'm not sure I'll ever get used to your efficiency." Lyra paused, her glowing eyes meeting his. Efficiency is a tool for survival and comfort. Observation. Humans often underestimate the value of structured assistance. Experience will improve understanding. Alex laughed. "You really sound like a walking instruction manual." Lyra's lips curved faintly, a gesture almost like a smile. Interpretation accepted. Humor detected. Breakfast was simple but satisfying. Lyra prepared a hybrid meal, combining ingredients from Earth and Zephyra. The bread had a slightly unusual texture, glowing faintly from natural minerals but tasted warm and comforting. Alex tried a bite and was surprised by how delicious it was. "You're really good at this," he said. Lyra tilted her head. Meal preparation is designed to optimize nutrition and taste. Positive feedback is noted. Do you require additional explanation? No, Alex said, shaking his head. I just like it. After breakfast, Alex decided to explore the immediate surroundings. He had already seen the floating lakes and the glowing forest from a distance, but he wanted to walk through them. Lyra accompanied him, observing silently at first, but stepping in to point out things he might miss. Those plants are called lumiferns, she explained, gently touching one that glowed softly when touched. They react to motion and temperature. Humans can safely harvest the spores for light or medicinal purposes. Alex knelt to examine the plant. They're beautiful. And useful. I never thought plants could actually respond like this. Lyra watched him closely. Zyphira's flora and fauna have adapted to a highly dynamic ecosystem. Interaction with humans requires careful observation. You are performing satisfactorily in terms of curiosity and caution. Alex laughed. You always make everything sound so formal. She turned her gaze to him, her silver hair catching the sunlight. Formal communication ensures clarity. Emotional nuance is secondary but acknowledged. As they walked, Alex began asking questions, not just about the plants, but about the planet itself. Lyra explained the history of Zyphira, its native species, the floating lakes, and even the rare minerals embedded in the soil. Each answer fascinated Alex. He had always loved learning, but this was different. The knowledge felt alive, connected to the world in a way Earth had never been. You really know a lot, he said. Do you ever get bored? Lyra paused for a moment. Boredom is not part of my operational parameters. Observation. Humans often seek stimulation. Engagement in learning and interaction with humans produces analogous effects. Alex smiled. That makes sense, I guess. Over the next few days, their bond grew quietly but steadily. Lyra would sometimes sit while Alex tinkered with small projects, watching silently and occasionally offering advice. Alex found himself talking about Earth, its cities, oceans, and forests. He spoke about human traditions, food, and even simple things like morning routines. Lyra listened attentively, occasionally asking questions that revealed a deep curiosity. You find human culture fascinating, Alex said one day, wiping sweat from his forehead as he tried to repair a small solar panel. Observation confirmed, Lyra replied. Human creativity and emotional expression are distinct. They provide insight into adaptive problem-solving. Your explanations enhance my understanding, Alex laughed. You make it sound like a science experiment. Lyra's head tilted slightly. Observation. It is a type of experiment, yet also an exchange. Knowledge transfer benefits both parties. One afternoon, a small crisis occurred. A stray Ziphiran creature, a large, glowing insect-like animal, wandered into the settlement. It was curious but harmless, yet its size and unfamiliarity caused concern among nearby settlers. Alex froze, unsure what to do. Lyra acted immediately. Her movements were precise and calm as she guided Alex behind a low barrier. Remain stationary. I will lead the creature away safely. Alex watched in awe as she approached the creature, speaking in soft, melodic tones. The alien paused, then followed her guidance, leaving the settlement without incident. That was incredible, Alex said once the creature was gone. You didn't even hesitate. Lyra's eyes shimmered faintly. Efficiency and safety protocols dictate immediate action. Observation. Human hesitation is common in unplanned scenarios. Response analysis suggests increased confidence is beneficial. Alex grinned. Well, I'm glad you were here. I'd have panicked completely. That evening, they returned to the house, tired but content. Alex looked at Lyra with a new sense of respect. She wasn't just a maid or assistant, she was intelligent, brave, and reliable. He realized he had begun to enjoy her company, not just for practical help, but for her presence, her unique way of seeing the world. You're kind of amazing, he admitted quietly as they sat on the balcony, watching Zyphira's twin moons rise. Lyra turned to him, her glowing eyes reflecting the moon's light. Acknowledgement received. Your approval is noted. Observation. Humans express positive sentiment in numerous ways. You have chosen verbal affirmation. Alex laughed softly. I guess I did. There were also lighter moments. One morning, while trying to make a simple breakfast, Alex accidentally spilled glowing syrup from Zyphira's fruits all over the counter. Lyra's initial surprise quickly turned into gentle teasing. Human error detected, she said. a faint warmth in her tone. Corrective action, clean immediately, Alex chuckled. You make it sound like a big deal. I'm just learning. Observation. Learning involves trial and error. Humor detected. Your response is typical. Alex grinned. Well, if I have to make mistakes, I'm glad you're here to catch them. Slowly, Alex began sharing small personal stories about his family, his life on Earth, his dreams of adventure. Lyra listened, sometimes asking questions that prompted deeper reflection. Through these exchanges, they began to understand each other beyond the simple roles of human and alien assistant. One day, Alex tried to teach Lyra a simple Earth game, a type of card game he used to play with friends. Lyra observed the rules carefully, her expressions unreadable at first. But after a few rounds, she adapted, even anticipating some of Alex's strategies. You have improved your skills, Alex said, impressed. Lyra tilted her head slightly. Observation. Strategy patterns are predictable. Adaptation ensures success. Enjoyment levels increased by interaction. Alex laughed. You're really taking this seriously, aren't you? Lyra's eyes flickered with faint amusement. Engagement is optimal. Entertainment is secondary, yet beneficial for cognitive and social functions. Over time, Alex realized that Lyra's presence made his life easier, safer, and more enjoyable. But more than that, she made him feel connected. To the planet, to the settlement, and to the idea that humans could thrive anywhere. Her guidance and companionship were not just practical. They were comforting. As the days passed, the two of them began developing a subtle rhythm. Lyra anticipated his needs before he asked, while Alex learned to trust her judgment. Even mundane tasks, watering the plants, fixing minor damages, or preparing meals, became shared moments of cooperation and quiet laughter. One evening, Alex and Lyra stood on the balcony watching the alien sky. The twin moons reflected on the floating lakes, and a soft wind carried the scent of Zephyra's flowers. Alex felt a deep sense of peace, something he had not experienced in a long time. You know, he said quietly, I wasn't sure I'd make it here. I thought I'd be lonely, maybe even scared, but with you around, I don't feel that way at all. Lyra's luminous eyes met his, their glow soft and steady. Observation, your comfort is improving. Emotional indicators suggest contentment. This outcome is beneficial, Alex smiled. I don't need your analysis to know that I'm happy. I really am. For a moment, they stood in silence, two beings from entirely different worlds, yet sharing the same moment, the same view, and the same sense of belonging. And as the twin moons rose higher in the sky, Alex realized that life on Zephyra was no longer just an adventure. It was beginning to feel like home. The morning on Zephyra began like any other, with the twin suns rising over the floating lakes, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold. Alex was already outside, checking the perimeter of his home and making notes on improvements he wanted to make. Lyra followed silently, her presence calm and steady. Your adjustments yesterday were efficient, she said, examining the placement of the new solar panels. Energy absorption increased by 12%. Alex smiled. Thanks. I wanted to make sure we wouldn't lose power if the suns moved behind the clouds. Lyra nodded, her luminous eyes flickering thoughtfully. Observation. Precautionary measures are effective. Human foresight contributes positively to survival and comfort. Their routine was interrupted when an alert flashed across Alex's communicator. The settlement AI indicated that a delegation of Zephyran officials would be visiting the human sector to inspect the settlement. The message emphasized that all human settlers were to demonstrate cooperation and adaptation with native species. Alex's stomach tightened. Oh, great, he muttered. Just when I thought things were going smoothly. Lyra, observing his unease, spoke softly. Your anxiety is noted. Protocol, maintain composure. Guidance will be provided as needed. Alex exhaled, trying to calm himself. I guess we'll need to make a good impression. The delegation arrived mid-afternoon. The Zephyran officials were taller and more imposing than Lyra, with elongated limbs, translucent skin, and eyes that seemed to shift colors as they observed everything. Alex felt his nervousness rise. Welcome, humans, one of the officials intoned. We are here to observe your adaptation. Cooperation with native species is key. Lyra stepped forward, her presence composed. Greetings. I am Lyra, assigned companion and assistant to Alex. I will facilitate interaction and ensure harmony. Alex swallowed hard, feeling slightly overshadowed by Lyra's calm authority. As the officials walked through the house, examining everything from energy efficiency to living conditions, Alex struggled to answer questions. He fumbled over explanations about Earth technology and human habits. Lyra subtly guided him. When an official asked about meal preparation, Lyra stepped in with measured explanations, highlighting Alex's contributions and their combined effort. The human exhibits strong adaptability, she said. Together, we maintain optimal living conditions through cooperative effort. The officials observed silently, their color-shifting eyes studying both of them. One raised a hand, signaling a question. Alex attempted to answer but stumbled over his words, and a moment of awkward silence followed. Lyra, noticing his discomfort, gently touched his shoulder, a small gesture of reassurance. Your explanation is partially correct, she said. Permit me to clarify. Alex felt a flush of embarrassment but also relief. Lyra's calm intervention diffused the tension. By the end of the visit, the officials nodded, apparently satisfied. Observation. Humans demonstrate potential for cooperation with native species, one official stated. Continued adaptation recommended. Positive outcome achieved. Alex exhaled, feeling a wave of relief. Thanks, I don't know what I'd do without you. Lyra inclined her head. Support is part of my function. Observation. Human gratitude is noted. Despite the successful visit, Alex couldn't shake a lingering worry. The Zifferans clearly had doubts about human abilities and their place on the planet. He realized that living here wouldn't just be about comfort. It would require constant learning and adaptation. A few days later, another challenge arrived, but this time it was less formal and far more dangerous. A large territorial Zifferan creature had wandered near the settlement. It resembled a massive insect, but its wings shimmered like stained glass and its antennae glowed softly in the dim light. The creature was curious but powerful, and its size intimidated the human settlers. Alex froze as he saw it approaching. His first instinct was to retreat, but he quickly remembered Lyra's advice from before. Stay calm and observe. Lyra stepped forward, her movements smooth and deliberate. Do not panic. Maintain a safe distance. I will guide the creature away. Alex watched in awe as she approached the creature, her voice melodic and soothing. The Zifferan paused, antennae twitching as it considered her presence. Slowly, it followed her guidance, retreating back into the forest without harming anyone. Alex exhaled heavily. I don't know how you do that. I'd have panicked completely. Lyra's eyes flickered faintly. Observation. Human hesitation is common in unplanned scenarios. Your response is understandable. Adaptation and composure increase with experience. The incident left Alex shaken but also impressed. He realized that Lyra was not just an assistant. She was capable of independent thought, strategy, and bravery. He began to see her not just as a helper, but as an invaluable companion in this alien world. That evening, Alex and Lyra sat on the balcony, watching the twin moons rise over the glowing lakes. The air was cool, carrying the scent of Zephyra's luminescent flowers. Alex felt a mix of relief and admiration. You know, he said quietly, I was nervous about living here alone, but now I feel like I can handle it because of you. Lyra's luminous eyes met his, their glow soft and steady. Acknowledgement received. Observation. Your confidence has increased. Human emotional growth noted. Alex smiled. I'm not just talking about confidence, I mean, I trust you. Completely. Lyra's lips curved slightly, almost like a smile. Trust is an important component of cooperation. Observation. Mutual reliance benefits both parties. Over the following days, Alex and Lyra continued to bond, facing smaller challenges together. Alex learned to adapt his routines to Zephyra's unique environment, guided by Lyra's careful instruction. They experimented with hybrid meals, repaired equipment, and even explored the glowing forests cautiously. During one excursion, Alex stumbled while climbing over uneven terrain. Lyra caught him effortlessly, her hands firm and steady. Careful, she said softly. Observation, caution improves safety. Human overconfidence can result in injury. Alex laughed nervously. Thanks. I guess I still have a lot to learn. Observation, learning is continuous. You are progressing satisfactorily, Lyra replied, her glowing eyes scanning him for signs of injury. Their shared experiences created a rhythm between them. Alex learned to anticipate Lyra's guidance, while Lyra began to observe subtle cues in his behavior. They started to understand each other's thoughts and emotions without needing words, a silent communication that strengthened their bond. One evening, a minor storm swept across the settlement. Winds howled and glowing spores from nearby plants were carried through the air. Alex struggled to secure the outdoor equipment, but Lyra moved with precision, assisting him without hesitation. "You should focus on essential tasks," she said, securing a panel that had come loose. "Efficiency is compromised when effort is misallocated." Alex followed her advice, marveling at her foresight. Together, they completed the work quickly and safely. The storm passed, leaving the sky clear and the twin moons reflecting off the lakes once again. "Thanks, Lyra," Alex said, exhausted but grateful. "I don't think I could have managed that alone." "You would have attempted successfully, but risk would have been higher," Lyra replied. Observation. Cooperation improves outcomes. As they cleaned up the aftermath, Alex realized something deeper than gratitude was growing inside him. Lyra's presence was no longer just comforting, it was essential. He found himself noticing her subtle gestures, the way she anticipated his needs, the faint warmth in her voice, and the care in her actions. Lyra, in turn, began observing Alex in new ways. She noted the nuances of human expression, the shifts in tone when he was nervous or happy, and the small quirks that made him uniquely human. Her programming had been designed for efficiency, but she found herself curious about these emotional subtleties, wondering what they meant and why they mattered. By the end of Part 3, Alex and Lyra had faced external challenges, cultural pressures and environmental dangers together. They had learned to rely on each other, trust each other, and adapt as a team. The experiences strengthened their bond, setting the stage for something more profound. A connection that went beyond human and alien, beyond efficiency and duty, into the realm of friendship and understanding. As the night settled over Zephyra, Alex stood on the balcony watching the stars and glowing forests below. He felt a sense of accomplishment, but more importantly, a sense of belonging. Lyra joined him silently, her presence steady and warm. Together they gazed at the alien sky, two beings from different worlds united by trust, respect, and the quiet thrill of adventure. And deep down, Alex realized that life on Zephyra, with its challenges and wonders, was not just about survival, it was about thriving together. Part 4. Realization and Emotional Growth. The morning sun bathed Zephyra in soft golden light, and Alex awoke feeling a strange sense of calm. The days had grown routine but no longer dull. Each morning Lyra was already at work, her glowing presence a quiet comfort that reminded him he was not alone on this distant planet. "Good morning, Alex," Lyra said, as he entered the kitchen. "Nutritional intake for breakfast is prepared according to your preferences." Alex smiled, watching her move with effortless grace as she set the table. "Thanks, Lyra, you always make everything perfect." She inclined her head slightly. Observation. Satisfaction is noted. Positive reinforcement contributes to cooperative behavior. Alex laughed. "You really do sound like a walking instruction manual sometimes." Lyra's subtle smile flickered. Observation. Humor detected. After breakfast, Alex suggested a walk through the nearby glowing forest. He had grown increasingly fascinated by Zephyra's unique flora and fauna, and Lyra's guidance made the exploration safe and informative. As they walked, Alex noticed how Lyra seemed to notice details that escaped him. A plant that changed color with the touch of sunlight, small creatures scuttling silently beneath the luminescent ferns, and even the shifting wind patterns among the floating lakes. "You really notice everything," he said, impressed. "I think you'd make an amazing explorer." Lyra paused, her luminous eyes meeting his. Observation. Detail recognition enhances safety and efficiency. Exploration is a natural extension of my function. Alex smiled. "Well, you make it look effortless." They reached a cliff overlooking one of the larger lakes, its surface reflecting the sky like a mirror. The twin moons glowed faintly, casting a magical light across the landscape. Alex sat on a smooth rock, taking in the beauty around him. "I never thought I'd see anything like this," he said quietly. "It's peaceful." Lyra stood beside him, silent for a moment. Observation. Humans often experience tranquility when exposed to natural phenomena. Your physiological indicators suggest calmness. Alex chuckled. You can always tell, huh? Lyra's head tilted. Observation and analysis are part of my function. Emotional nuance is secondary but increasingly recognized as valuable. For a moment, they simply sat together, watching the glowing water ripple in the wind. Alex felt a warmth in his chest he didn't quite understand. Lyra's presence was comforting in a way that went beyond practical help or guidance. It was companionship, something deeper and more personal. Lyra, Alex began hesitantly, do you ever think about what it's like to feel? More than just what you're programmed to do? Lyra's eyes flickered. Clarification requested. Do you mean emotional experience beyond functional parameters? Yes, Alex said, trying to put it into words. I mean, feelings, connections, caring. Lyra was silent for a moment, considering. Observation, these are human traits. My programming emphasizes efficiency and assistance, but interactions with humans provide insights into emotional responses. Caring can be observed and replicated. Genuine understanding is gradually developing. Alex smiled softly, surprised by her honesty. So, you're learning to care? Lyra nodded slightly. Observation. Care is being processed in relation to your well-being. Response patterns suggest mutual benefit. Alex felt a small thrill of warmth. It was strange to hear it expressed so formally, yet the meaning was clear. He realized he had begun to care for Lyra in return, not just as a companion or assistant, but as someone who mattered deeply to him. As days passed, the bond between them grew stronger. They shared simple domestic moments that became precious, cooking meals together, repairing small tools, and tending the glowing garden outside. Each task was infused with quiet laughter and subtle glances that spoke volumes. One afternoon, Alex decided to show Lyra something from Earth, an old game he used to play with friends. He explained the rules, demonstrating carefully, and watched as she learned quickly. Within minutes, Lyra had adapted, anticipating his moves with sharp precision. You're really good at this, Alex said, impressed. Lyra's head tilted slightly. Observation, strategy, and pattern recognition enhance performance. Adaptation ensures optimal results. Enjoyment is noted as secondary but beneficial. Alex laughed. You really do take everything seriously, don't you? Observation, engagement is optimal. Entertainment is secondary yet contributes to social bonding, Lyra replied, her glowing eyes flickering with what seemed almost like amusement. That evening, a quiet moment occurred while they were sitting on the balcony, watching Zephyra's twin moons. The wind carried the faint scent of luminescent flowers, and Alex realized how much he had grown to rely on Lyra, not just for practical help, but for the sense of comfort and connection she provided. I never thought I'd feel at home here, Alex admitted softly, but with you, it's different. I feel like I belong. Lyra's eyes met his, glowing softly in the moonlight. Observation. Your sense of belonging has increased. Emotional indicators suggest contentment and attachment. Response. Mutual companionship is recognized. Alex smiled, feeling a mix of relief and warmth. I'm glad you feel that too. In your way, I mean. Lyra inclined her head. Acknowledgement. Mutual connection is observed. Response. Understanding and acceptance are present. Over the next few weeks, small gestures began to change their dynamic. Lyra would sometimes linger slightly longer when Alex spoke, or anticipate his preferences with subtle care. Alex found himself noticing these details, feeling appreciation that went beyond gratitude. One evening, while tending the garden, Alex accidentally tripped and fell, scraping his arm. Lyra immediately moved to assist him, her hands gentle and precise as she cleaned the wound. You should be more careful, she said softly, her voice carrying a hint of concern that felt almost human. Alex smiled weakly. Thanks, I guess I need a better eye for these things. Lyra's eyes flickered. Observation. Human error is expected. Response, assistance, and care improve outcomes. Your well-being is prioritized. The incident left Alex with a deeper awareness of his feelings. He realized that he valued Lyra's care, not just her skills, but the attention and concern she showed him. He also noticed a growing desire to protect her, to ensure her safety even though she was clearly capable of taking care of herself. One night during a storm, Alex found himself worried about Lyra's safety. The wind howled and rain fell in glowing droplets from the luminescent clouds above. He watched her move efficiently, securing equipment and shielding delicate plants. Yet he couldn't shake the feeling that something would go wrong. "You're doing everything right," he said, his voice tight with concern. "I just don't want anything to happen to you." Lyra paused, her eyes meeting his, glowing faintly in the storm's light. Observation, concern is noted. Response cooperation ensures mutual safety. Your attachment is recognized, Alex exhaled, realizing the truth of his own words. He cared for her deeply, not just as an assistant or a friend, but as someone who had become essential to his life. Lyra, in turn, seemed to process a new understanding. Her eyes lingered on Alex, and her subtle movements indicated awareness of his emotional state. She had begun to recognize her own feelings, or at least the significance of his. She didn't fully understand the concept of love yet, but she understood attachment, care, and the importance of mutual trust. By the end of Part 4, both Alex and Lyra had come to a quiet realization. Their relationship had grown beyond duty and companionship. There was care, concern, and an emotional bond that neither had expected when they first met. Alex looked at Lyra one evening, the glow of the moons reflecting in her eyes. I really like having you here," he said softly. "More than I thought I could like anyone." Lyra's head tilted slightly, her glow softening. Observation. Positive sentiment is acknowledged. Response. Mutual satisfaction is present. Your words suggest attachment beyond functional parameters. Alex laughed softly. "Yeah, I guess that's one way to put it." Lyra's subtle smile seemed to say more than words could convey. In that moment, both understood something unspoken. Their bond was special, unique, and growing stronger every day. And as Zyphira's twin moons rose high in the sky, casting their gentle light over the floating lakes and glowing forests, Alex felt a quiet certainty. Life on this alien world was no longer just about adaptation or survival. It was about connection, trust, and the beginnings of something deeper, a bond that could transcend worlds. For the first time since arriving, Alex truly believed that love, or whatever name it might take on Zyphira, was possible. Even here, even with someone so different from him and Lyra. Observing him seemed to feel it too, in the closest way she could understand: attachment, care, and a desire to remain close. The morning sun of Zyphira shone brightly, reflecting off the floating lakes and glowing forests surrounding Alex's home. For the first time, he woke with a sense of excitement rather than nervousness. Today felt different, not because of any task or challenge, but because of a quiet anticipation that he could not fully explain. Lyra was already moving through the house, her soft glow illuminating the rooms as she cleaned and organized. She seemed more relaxed than usual, and Alex noticed a subtle change in the way she observed him. There was a warmth in her gaze that had grown steadily over the past weeks. "Good morning, Alex," she said in her melodic tone. "Your morning routine has been optimized for efficiency and comfort." Alex smiled, feeling a flutter of warmth. "Good morning, Lyra. You seem different today." Lyra paused, tilting her head slightly. Observation. Human perception suggests a difference in demeanor. Analysis. Emotional parameters indicate increased anticipation and engagement. Alex laughed softly. "You really notice everything, don't you?" "Yes," Lyra replied simply. Observation. Attention to detail ensures optimal outcomes. After breakfast, Alex suggested they take a walk to the edge of the settlement, a quiet area where the forest met the floating cliffs. He had been thinking about what he wanted to say to Lyra for days, unsure how to put it into words. But the peaceful morning, with the twin moons still faintly visible in the sky, gave him courage. As they walked, Lyra noticed his thoughtful expression. "You seem contemplative," she said softly. Observation. Cognitive processes indicate internal reflection. "Would you like to discuss your thoughts?" Alex hesitated, then nodded. "Yeah, I think I do." They reached a clearing overlooking one of the larger lakes. The water shimmered in the sunlight, reflecting the colors of the sky and the distant mountains. Alex took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. "Lyra," he began, his voice gentle. "I've been thinking a lot about us, about how much I've come to depend on you, not just for help, but for everything. Your company, your guidance, your care." Lyra's eyes glowed softly and she stepped closer. Observation. Attachment is mutual. Your words indicate emotional depth beyond functional parameters. Response, understanding, and acknowledgement are present. Alex smiled, feeling a mixture of relief and excitement. I really like you, Lyra. More than I expected to like anyone. And I don't just mean as a friend or companion. Lyra paused, processing the statement. Her luminous eyes flickered, reflecting the colors of the lake below. Clarification. You are expressing positive emotional attachment that extends beyond friendship. Response, acknowledgement is accepted. Observation. Corresponding attachment is present in my processing protocols. Alex laughed softly, the tension in his chest melting away. So, you feel the same way? Lyra's glow brightened slightly. Observation. Attachment, care, and desire for continued proximity are present. Your presence is considered essential to my well-being. Response. Emotional parameters align with yours. Alex felt a rush of joy. For weeks he had worried about whether a human and an alien could truly understand each other, let alone develop a deeper bond. And now here they were, two beings from completely different worlds, realizing they had found something extraordinary in one another. The rest of the day passed in a mix of laughter, exploration, and quiet conversation. They walked through the glowing forests, exchanged stories about Earth and Zifira, and shared meals prepared together. Every moment felt like a celebration of their bond, and the settlers they encountered in the community noticed the easy cooperation and trust between the human and his alien companion. Later, as evening approached, a small gathering was held in the settlement. Other settlers and a few Zifiran locals had come to share food, stories, and laughter. Alex and Lyra moved through the crowd together, their presence as a team clearly visible. Observation. Your interactions demonstrate effective cooperation and mutual respect, one Zifiran elder remarked, her translucent skin shifting colors in approval. Humans can thrive when understanding and trust are established with native species. Alex smiled proudly. Thanks, I guess it's just about learning from each other. Lyra inclined her head. Observation. Adaptation and cooperation are key to harmonious coexistence. Your performance aligns with optimal patterns. The evening sky glowed with the light of the twin moons, and Alex and Lyra found themselves sitting on the balcony, overlooking the settlement. The wind carried the faint scent of glowing flowers, and the air was filled with the distant hum of Zifira's wildlife. I can't believe how far we've come, Alex said softly. When I first arrived, I didn't know what to expect. I thought I'd be lonely, maybe even struggle to survive. But now, I feel at home, and it's not just because of the house or the planet, it's because of you. Lyra's eyes glimmered softly. Observation. Your statement indicates deep emotional attachment. Response, mutual attachment and appreciation are present. Your presence has become integral to my functioning and my understanding of companionship. Alex reached out and gently took her hand. The warmth of her touch, soft yet strong, sent a wave of comfort through him. Lyra, I don't just want to be your human friend. I want us to face everything together, on this planet, in this life. Whatever comes next. Lyra's luminous eyes met his, their glow steady and reassuring. Acknowledgement, your proposal is recognized and accepted. Observation. Partnership will be mutually beneficial and emotionally fulfilling. Response, commitment to shared experiences is confirmed. A quiet joy settled over them. They had faced challenges, learned from each other, and grown together. Now, they openly acknowledged their bond, ready to build a future that transcended worlds. Over the next few weeks, life in the settlement took on a new rhythm. Alex and Lyra worked together seamlessly, combining human creativity with Zifiran intelligence. They repaired equipment, cultivated the glowing gardens, and even assisted other settlers in adjusting to the alien environment. Their teamwork became a model for others, showing that humans and native species could not only coexist but thrive together. One day, as they were arranging a small community event, Alex looked at Lyra and felt a quiet pride. You know, he said, I think we're actually teaching the settlers something important. It's not just about survival or efficiency. It's about trust, respect, and working together. That's what makes life here meaningful. Lyra's eyes flickered with a soft glow. Observation. Social cohesion and cooperation enhance overall well-being. Humans and native species can achieve remarkable outcomes through mutual understanding. Your statement aligns with observed patterns. Alex laughed softly. You really do sound like a teacher sometimes. Observation. Effective communication and guidance are essential, Lyra replied calmly. Teaching is an extension of cooperation. Even in small everyday moments, their bond strengthened. They shared meals, laughed over minor mistakes, and explored the alien landscape together. Each day was filled with discovery, learning, and quiet joy. One evening, after a long day of tending the settlement, Alex and Lyra sat by the floating lakes, their reflections shimmering in the water. The twin moons rose high, casting silvery light across the landscape. I never thought I'd find something like this, Alex said softly, taking her hand again. A sense of belonging, connection, and someone I truly care about. Lyra's luminous eyes met his. Observation. Your emotional state indicates happiness and contentment. Response. Mutual attachment and satisfaction are present. Your presence enhances my understanding of emotional experiences. Alex smiled, feeling a wave of warmth. Lyra, I don't just like being with you. I love having you in my life, and I want to make sure we continue this together. Lyra's glow brightened gently. Acknowledgement, sentiment is recognized. Response. Reciprocal attachment and care are confirmed. Commitment to shared experiences and emotional connection is established. The two sat in quiet harmony, gazing at the glowing lakes and the distant forest. Words were no longer necessary. Their bond was clear in every glance, every gesture, every shared moment. By the time the twin moons reflected fully on the water, Alex felt a deep sense of peace. Life on Zephyra had brought challenges, surprises, and even moments of fear. But it had also brought friendship, trust, and love. And now, with Lyra by his side, he knew he could face anything. Lyra, observing Alex, seemed to understand the same truth in her own way. Her programming had taught her efficiency, assistance, and observation. But her experiences with Alex had taught her something beyond code. Connection, care, and companionship. Together, they were no longer just a human and an alien assistant. They were partners, friends, and companions, ready to explore life on Zephyra, learn from each other, and build a future that neither could have imagined alone. The story of Alex and Lyra closed not with an ending, but with a beginning, a life full of discovery, shared joy, and the promise of endless possibilities. And as the twin moons reflected on the floating lakes, Alex and Lyra stood together, hand in hand, ready to face the future. Together.